The Roman Empire wasn't built in a day, but its legacy has lasted for over 2,000 years. From a small city on the banks of the Tiber River, Rome rose to become one of the most powerful empires the world has ever seen, shaping politics, warfare, architecture, and culture across continents. But with great power came great instability. Behind the glory were power struggles, assassinations, economic crises, and invasions that eventually brought the empire to its knees. In this video, we'll trace the incredible journey of Rome, how it rose, ruled, and ultimately fell. This is the epic story of ambition, dominance, and downfall. This is the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. Today we will talk about the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to my channel. The origins of Rome. Rome's story begins around 753 BCE, according to legend, with Romulus and Remus, twin brothers raised by a she-wolf. While this origin myth is symbolic, the real Rome started as a small settlement of farmers and shepherds. It was built on 7 hills near the Tiber River, a perfect location for trade and defense. By 509 BCE, Romans overthrew their kings and formed a republic. It was a bold political experiment. Power was placed in the hands of elected officials, and a senate, which represented the people, at least in theory. In reality, power stayed mostly with the wealthy elite known as patricians, while ordinary citizens or plebeians had to fight for rights through protests and reforms. Still, this system gave Rome structure, and over the next 400 years, the Republic expanded aggressively. Rome fought local tribes, absorbed allies, and built roads and armies to control its territories. But it was through war with another rising power that Rome would take its biggest step forward. The Punic Wars, turning Rome into a superpower. From 264 BCE to 146 BCE, Rome fought a series of brutal wars with Carthage, a powerful city-state in North Africa. These were the Punic Wars, and they changed everything. Carthage's general Hannibal famously crossed the Alps with elephants and nearly crushed Rome. But Rome held on. After years of battles, Rome finally defeated Carthage, destroying the city and claiming dominance over the Western Mediterranean. These victories made Rome incredibly wealthy, but they also brought in slaves, inequality, and corruption. Rome was now an empire in all but name. It controlled massive territories, but its republican government wasn't built to rule such a vast area. The fall of the Republic. As Rome grew, its internal problems deepened. Wealth flowed into the hands of a few, and farmers were pushed off their lands. The gap between rich and poor widened. Violence in politics became common. Out of this chaos rose powerful generals like Julius Caesar. After years of civil war and political tension, Caesar marched his army into Rome in 49 BCE, defying the Senate. He took control and was eventually declared dictator for life. But in 44 BCE, Caesar was assassinated by senators who feared he wanted to be king. His death led to more civil war. Eventually, his adopted heir, Octavian, defeated all rivals and became Rome's first emperor in 27 BCE under the name Augustus. The Republic was officially over. The Roman Empire had begun. The Roman Empire at its peak. Under Augustus and the emperors who followed, Rome entered a golden age known as the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. It lasted around 200 years. During this time, Rome was the center of the Western world. At its height, around 117 CE, the Roman Empire stretched from Britain to Egypt, from Spain to Mesopotamia. Its population was over 50 million. Rome built roads, aqueducts, amphitheaters, and public baths. Cities were connected, cultures blended, and the economy boomed. Roman law, language, and infrastructure laid the foundation for much of Europe's future. Latin became the base for languages like Spanish, French, and Italian. Roman roads and bridges outlasted the empire itself. and Roman law would later inspire. Cracks were already forming. Trouble from within. The Roman Empire became too big to manage effectively. Communication was slow, rebellions became harder to control, and defending the borders required massive armies. Corruption spread throughout the government. Many emperors were more interested in luxury and power than running the empire. Some ruled for just months before being assassinated or overthrown. Between 235 and 284 CE, Rome had over 20 emperors in just 50 years. This era is known as the crisis of the 3rd century, and it nearly destroyed the empire. Rome's economy was also in trouble. To pay for wars and bribes, emperors debased the currency. Inflation soared. Food shortages hit cities. Slavery, once a source of cheap labor, started to backfire as it discouraged innovation. And religion was changing too. In the early 4th century, Emperor Constantine legalized Christianity and moved the capital to a new city, Constantinople. Christianity helped unify some parts of the empire, but it also weakened traditional Roman values and institutions. The division of the empire. By 285 CE, Emperor Diocletian decided the empire was too large for one person to rule. He divided it into Eastern and Western Roman empires, each with its own emperor. The East, centered in Constantinople, was richer and more stable. The West, based in Rome, was weaker and more exposed to outside attacks. This division helped in the short term, but created long-term problems. The two halves drifted apart. Resources were stretched thin, and enemies from the north began to push harder against the weakened Western Empire. Barbarian invasions and the fall of the West. For centuries, Rome had dealt with invading tribes from outside its borders. Goths, Vandals, Franks, Saxons. But in the 4th and 5th centuries, these attacks grew more intense. In 410 CE, the unthinkable happened. Rome was sacked by the Visigoths, led by Alaric. Then, in 455 CE, the Vandals invaded and looted the city again. Rome, once the center of the world, was vulnerable. In 476 CE, the final blow came. The last Roman emperor of the West, a boy named Romulus Augustulus, was overthrown by a Germanic chieftain named Odoacer. This event is commonly marked as the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Eastern Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, would survive for nearly another 1,000 years. But the Western Roman Empire was gone, and Europe fell into what many call the Dark Ages. What caused Rome to fall? There was no single reason Rome fell. It was a mix of many factors, all building over time. Overexpansion made it hard to manage and defend the empire. Corruption and weak leadership broke trust in government. Economic troubles, including inflation and heavy taxes, drained the population. Barbarian invasions pushed the empire past its breaking point. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.